Are you guys watching an album review from me? What? It's just, I didn't know this was a thing still, but apparently it's still a thing. It's still a thing. Hey guys, what's up? So as you know, it has been quite a while since I have done an album review. Very long time actually. And I was like, why not do it on the Maine's brand new album? These guys have been around for 10 years as a band now, I believe. I've always liked this band's music, and I just feel like the Maine is definitely a band that is known with each release kind of trying to evolve their sound a little bit, but they always try to push themselves, I think, to make something a little bit different than the last. The Maine's new album is titled Lovely Little Lonely, and this is their 6th studio album, and this is actually their first album completely released independently, which I think is awesome. The first single was released a couple of months ago previous to this album's release, and that is Bad Behavior. This song definitely packs a punch. It continues with a similar style as to their last album, American Candy. It's got these infectious, bright guitar riffs along with this catchy chorus. John's vocals give you more of this sassy spunk to them. I really like the attitude he kind of has on this song, and it's just overall a really fun jam. I think they chose this song as the right single because I think this fans hyped up for the album. I know when I listened to this song, I was really stoked to hear what the rest of this album was going to sound like. And the second single that they came out with was Black Butterflies and Deja Vu. Automatically, this song draws me in with its fast-paced drums, and the guitar riffs on this song are really interesting. It shows some more brighter guitar tones, and then it shows darker guitar tones combined. Also, John's vocals on this song are really eargasmic. Just by using so much dynamic in his voice, that goes along really well, I think, with the instrument, creating a really powerful track on this album, and probably my personal favorite out of the singles. And the opening track, Don't Come Down, is again kind of in a similar vein to American Candy. It has these swaying, more bright guitar chords to it, and it draws you into the song really nicely. One song on here that just screams the Maine to me, definitely whether you listen to their older stuff or their newer stuff, I think fans of the Maine would really like this track, is Taxi. Lyrically, it gives a darker message, but it comes around with this nice acoustic guitar intro, and it drags you into this really fun chorus. It's like you can easily start listening along to this song, and then when you're done listening to it, you're like, wow, did I really just sing these words? Because lyrically, when you look at the song, it's kind of a depressing song. He's in the back of this taxi basically with the girl, and the girl's like asking him like, is the sadness everlasting? And then he's like, I think it is. And I think this song in particular, like I said, really reflects on the Maine's overall sound as a band. The Maine also shows their more nostalgic, reminiscing side on this album with songs like Do You Remember the Other Half of 23? This song definitely brings you that same nostalgia as We All Roll Along did from their first album, Can't Stop, Won't Stop. They reminisce here about the good times and overall just having fun. It's a very upbeat, feel-good track, and I really like the little mini guitar solo breakdown in it. I think it's something so unexpected, and like every time I hear this song, I'm like, oh yeah, there's this cool little guitar part. And then the other song on this album that has that same message to it too is The Sound of Reverie, and this song definitely is a similar vibe to Do You Remember the Other Half of 23? Talking about being younger again and doing all these crazy things, and also being one of the more upbeat songs as well on this album. And the drums and the guitars are kind of chaotic in this, but in like a really good way, like it's very put together. One thing I've definitely noticed on this album in comparison to American Candy is experimented a little bit on this album, and not too far off where you're kind of like, what is this, like a different band? But they added more effects in this album and more synths in it, I think, to create more of this atmosphere. Just giving the examples off of the song Lost in Nostalgia, one of the more calming tracks on the album, and it has this really cool undertoned like bass groove in it. And the song is just kind of dark but very airy. I love it even though it's so simple and it's like under 2 minutes long. It's a really cool little track that's towards the end of the album. 3 interludes that connect with the title of this album, Lovely Little Lonely. So they have Lovely Little and Lonely like all in that kind of order throughout the album. And these 3 little interludes show that experimental side. You hear more of those little effects and that airy kind of echo-ness. And I think these 3 interludes really transition perfectly into the next. Even without the interludes, if you listen to this album as a whole, just each song kind of just transitions into the next one perfectly, and it really feels like a whole album. My favorite out of the 3 interludes is probably Lonely. It has more of a vocal melody to it. I Only Want to Talk to You is probably my favorite song on this album. I know it's definitely lyrically my favorite song. It just feels the most relatable to me. And I like how they use a good mix of acoustic and electric guitars in this song. And I like how it transitions more towards the middle of the song where they use more of the acoustic guitar, and then you'll hear more of the electric guitar come in, and it kind of just trades off a little bit to personal and reflective closer on this album. How do you feel? It's definitely a build-up song that has a real connection lyrically with me too. It kind of talks about like, does anybody like ever ask you how you are or pay attention to how you feel? Do you feel like you're here, or do you feel like you're really not? And it also shows a lot more of this really phenomenal guitar work. The guitars are a lot more prominent on this song. In a way, this album almost feels like a continuation of American Candy. But I think once you listen to this album in its full a few times, you see a little bit more there to it. I think the Maine kind of wanted to bring something a little bit new to the table, like I said, by adding more of these effects and synths. And then a lot more songs on this album feel very personal, vulnerable, and reminiscent. A different dimension of the Maine on this album. I think also too with the effects and the more atmosphericness on this album, you get a little bit more darker tones compared to American Candy. Sound-wise like American Candy, but it feels like it's like a little bit more of a darker album, and you kind of go inside more of the band's head. Overall, my rating for this album is probably a 9.7 out of 10. Comment down below and let me know if you guys have heard the new Maine album and what you think of it. If you haven't listened to the album yet, please give it a listen though. These guys are really talented and they really, I think, deserve more praise. And I'm happy that the band has grown with such an amazing fan base. I'm actually doing a tour promoting this new album, and I'm going to the Boston date, and they're playing with Beach Weather, and I'm really excited. It should be a great time. That is April 28th. If you're going to that, maybe, or if you're going to one of the dates, let me know down below. Also down there is my social media sites, guys, if you want to follow me on any of those. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up down there. That would show me that you still want me to be making album reviews, because this is one that I really wanted to do, and I'm really glad I did it. Like always, stay brutal, stay tuned for more videos, and see you guys later.